This is the month of gay pride and the various marches through many cities in America, and there are lots of gay-themed films. One of them is Stonewall Uprising. It's a documentary, and I went to see it. I'm one of the talking heads in the film. But I lived in the village at the time it occurred in 1969, and it was a monumental moment in time which changed the nature of government and oppression and progress with respect to gay rights and the protection of homosexuals, not only in New York City, but ultimately throughout the country. What happened was that in the city of New York, the state liquor authority did not allow regular bars to serve homosexuals. They could lose their licenses. So organized crime created phony private clubs where you paid $1, walked in, and Stonewall was such a facility. And while it was raided regularly, on a night in June in 1969, there was a ferocious incident. The cops sent 6 cops to do the raiding, and the gays fought back.
I mean, this was the Rosa Parks moment, the time that gay people stood up and said no.
It was thrilling. It was the only time I was in gladiatorial sport that, you know, I stood up in. I was proud. I was a man.
In the civil rights movement, we ran from the police. That night, the police ran from us, and it was fantastic.
What followed the uprising is, I think, very important. One, John Lindsay in 1972 issued an executive order in which he prohibited discrimination by the city against people based on their sexual orientation. And I did the same when I came into office in 1978. Both Lindsay and I could only decide what the government would do in order to get similar coverage binding on private sector employers. It required the city council to do it, and there was great resistance. But finally, in 1986, we got a law through which exists today, prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation. Now, what is also interesting is that Barney Frank, who is an openly gay member of the Congress, has introduced legislation this year, and he now has 202 sponsors, and there is a similar bill in the Senate with 45 sponsors. So perhaps, and most likely, there will be legislation that will prohibit on a federal level discrimination based on sexual orientation. It happens that I was a member of Congress back in 1969 through 77, and I think it was in 1974, Bella Abzug, member of Congress, and I introduced comparable legislation, and we could only get 2 other members of Congress to join us. But it looks like it will be passed shortly. The film is very much worth your seeing, whether you're gay or whether you're straight. So I give it a big plus.